Hey everyone, and today we're going to be learning chemistry using this app. I provided the link of this app in the description and in the comments, so if you can click on the link then you can follow along. There's also going to be a quiz we're going to be doing, so that would be easier. Let's start with looking at the structure of an atom. All matter is made of atoms. The table, the chair, the grass, it's all made of atoms. And right now we're going to take a deeper look into what exactly an atom is. For teaching purposes, I'm going to press shorten text up here. But if you're looking at it yourself, I suggest you read through everything. So the three parts of an atom are called subatomic particles. And the first one is called a proton. Protons are in the nucleus. And if you look at the diagram of an atom on the right screen over here, then you can see the nucleus is just the middle of an atom. So the proton is the green circle there. And then next we have neutrons. Neutrons are also in the nucleus, that's the middle. And next we have electrons. Electrons are in the orbits. So the orbits are kind of the rings of the atom. It's the yellow circle in the diagram. And when you're ready to move on, you can press the next button in the bottom right corner. So now let's look closer at each of the subatomic particles. The protons have a charge of +1, and they have a mass of 1 atomic mass unit, so that's AMU for short. The proton is the green circle there again. And neutrons have no charge, so they have a charge of 0. And they have the same mass as a proton, 1 atomic mass unit. And electrons have a charge of -1. And it's so small that it doesn't count towards the total weight of an atom. It only has a mass of 1 out of 2,000 atomic mass units. So if you want to go back to review, you can press the button at the bottom left corner. So once you're finished reviewing that, you can either practice or earn gems. So I'm going to press practice. And this just presents you with a quiz. There's 3 pages to this quiz. The first question is, what is the mass of a proton? So we have choices here, 1 AMU, 10 kilograms, or 1 out of 2,000 AMU. If you look back, you can see that the answer is 1 AMU, and that neutron is the same thing. And it's obviously not 10 kilograms. For an electron, the mass is so small that it's 1 out of 2,000 AMU. So we can press check over here, and we can see that we got it all right. So I'm not going to do the entire quiz for you, but you can follow along with your own app, with the link in the description or the comments. So if you want a hint, you can press this hint button right here, and it'll give you a hint. Although it does cost 0.5 gems, and your gem count is up here. Everyone starts with 2 gems, so that costs us 0.5 gems. And if you want to earn gems, you can always press earn gems right over here. It does the same quiz, except there's a time limit. And yeah, there's just a time limit, and for every answer you get right, you earn 1 gem. Now let's move on to elements. I'm going to go to the navbar. So an element is just a bunch of the same atoms grouped together. Each element has a symbol with a capital letter. For example, an oxygen element equals O, that's the symbol. And an oxygen element is basically made out of a lot of oxygen atoms. And each element is either a metal or a non-metal. So to get a closer look at this, we can go to the periodic table and press this button. And each of these they're just elements. Each one of them are elements. For example, right here, we can see that this element is called lithium. And then lithium has a symbol of Li. And that just means it's made out of a bunch of lithium atoms. And below that, we can also see that it has a mass. So each element also has a mass, and this one is 6.941, although we don't have to memorize it that exact. So the next page right here shows us a bit more about how to read the periodic table. If we look at the diagram on the right, the number of protons of an element is the atomic number. So the atomic number is the number that's on top of the symbol. So for the diagram on the right, the atomic number of oxygen is 8. And the element symbol is O, the element name is oxygen, and the number at the bottom, that's the atomic weight, or atomic mass, is 15.999. But usually for the atomic mass, we can round it up to 16. So that's how to read a periodic table. And now let's look at connections of a periodic table and the structure of an atom. So the number of the protons of an element is the atomic number. So every atom has a different amount of protons. And to find that out, all we have to do is look at the atomic number on the top. For oxygen, it has an atomic number of 8, so that means one oxygen atom has 8 protons. And the next rule is that the number of electrons is equal to the number of protons, so they're always the same. And if oxygen has 8 protons, that means it should have 8 electrons. The next rule is that the atomic mass is equal to the number of protons plus the number of neutrons. So the number of neutrons we don't know right now because it doesn't say on the periodic table. What we would do is we would take the atomic mass. And we would minus the number of protons to make it equal to the number of neutrons. So that's the next rule right here. The number of neutrons is the atomic mass minus the number of protons. So oxygen has an atomic mass of 16, and it has 8 protons. So we would do 16 minus 8 is equal to 8 neutrons. So oxygen has 8 neutrons. And another example is if an atom has 11 protons and 12 neutrons, the atomic mass will be 11 plus 12 equals 23. Because remember, an electron is so light that it doesn't count towards the total mass of an atom. So the total mass of an atom is only the 2 other subatomic particles, the protons and the neutrons. And I'm going to press practice. And you can go through this quiz before moving on to the next stage. Na has 11 protons and a mass of 23. What is the number of neutrons? So over here we can use the periodic table and find the symbol of Na. So after looking around, we can see that Na has an atomic number of 11. And if it has an atomic number of 11, that means it also has 11 protons. So if Na has 11 protons, and the atomic mass is 23, then we would do 23 minus 11, because that's how you get the number of neutrons. And 23 minus 11 is 12. So what's the atomic number? Remember we already found this. The atomic number is equal to the number of protons, and that's 11. And the number of electrons is equal to the number of protons too. So that's also 11.